Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
Before you can issue a paycheck to an employee, you must have the employee entered into Peachtree. We looked at the process of setting up payroll and entering the employee defaults in Lesson 2. Now we will look at actually entering in the individual employee records. To do this, select Maintain from the menu bar and choose Employees/Sales Reps. This invokes the Maintain Employees/Sales Reps window where you can add new employees and edit employee information. At the top of the window, you would start by entering the ID you want to assign to the employee into the Employee ID field. Next, type the first name, middle initial, and last name of the employee into the three fields to the right of the name label. Then select one of the option buttons to indicate the employee's status, employee, sales rep, or both. If you choose employee, the individual will appear on employee-related reports and the payroll entry window. If you select sales rep, they will appear in the sales rep lookup list and on accounts receivable sales rep reports. Paychecks, however, cannot be issued to these individuals. Both allows for both aspects at once. To make an employee inactive after they have been entered, you can click the Inactive checkbox. Click the General tab to view the basic information for the employee. Enter the address of the employee into the address fields. Then enter in the city, state, and zip into the three fields across from the label of the same name. Enter the country of the employer into the country field, and enter the Social Security number of the employee into the Social Security number field. You can assign the employee an employee type using the type field or by typing whatever code you want to use into the box provided. This can then be used as a report filter or as a way of selecting for which employees you wish to process paychecks when performing payroll entry later on. You can also enter their phone number into the Telephone 1 field. Then enter the employee's email address into the email field. Under the Dates section, enter in the date that the employee was hired, their last raised date, and their terminated date, if applicable. Then, when we are ready to enter the employee beginning balances for accurate W-2 and payroll reporting for our first year, we would click the Beginning Balances gray arrow button, and we'll examine doing this later. If using Peachtree 2003, then complete the Withholding Information section in the General tab. If you're using Peachtree 2004 or later, you can click the Withholding Info tab to enter this information. In either location, use the list box to enter some of the basic payroll withholding information for the employee. Select the appropriate status of the employee using the drop-down for the Filing Status field for each payroll field. Enter in the number of allowances this employee is taking for the federal, state, and local tax lines. You can also enter in any additional withholding amounts if employees elect to have additional money withheld from their paychecks. Some state tax formulas use the Allow and Additional Withholding fields for tax calculation purposes. Before using these fields, read any comments associated with your state income tax formula in the Global Tax table. If the comment discusses the proper use of these fields, you should follow the steps listed. To find your state income tax formula, you can select File from the menu bar, go to Tax Tables, and choose Edit Global. Or, if you're using Peachtree 2004 or later, it'll be File, Payroll Tax Tables, and then Peachtree Maintained. Back on the Withholding Info tab, in the same location, enter the two-letter abbreviation for the state in which the employee lives in the state tax line in the state locality field. Then enter the locality name where the employee pays local income tax in the locality line. You can also check the retirement plan checkbox if the employee participates in a 401k or other plan. This will place a check in the checkbox for the field of the same name in the employee's W-2 form. Click the checkbox for statutory employee if the employee qualifies as a statutory employee according to the current IRS guidelines. On the Custom Fields tab, you will enter any fields that you have decided to track for your employees when you are setting up the employee defaults. On the Pay Info tab, you will enter information about how you pay the employee. You can select an option from the Pay Method drop-down: salary, hourly with hours per pay period, or hourly based on time ticket hours. Then enter a dollar amount to bill customers by the hour for time recorded on time tickets into the hourly billing rate field. Then select the frequency with which you pay your employees from the frequency drop-down. If you selected the hours based on hours per pay period choice, you can enter the common number of hours the employee works in a payroll period into the hours per pay period. Under the field name column, you can see the different pay levels available for this employee. Enter all of the different types of pay that they can earn in these lists for your hourly and salaried position. You can click the standard checkbox to clear it if you don't want to use the standard general ledger payroll expense account for the employee. Then you would have to select a different general ledger account using the GL account field. You can click the Employee Fields tab to enter deductions that are specific to the employee. Depending on the payroll fields that you are using, you may have employees whose payroll deductions differ from the company-wide ones that you set up in your employee defaults. So on this tab, you would enter specific employee deductions. You cannot enter new payroll field information here. You can only do that through the employee defaults. But you can click the standard field, the little STD checkbox, if you don't want to use the standard payroll field information for this selected employee. Then you can make an individual change to this particular individual's fields. You can change the GL account field where the tax liability will be tracked, and you can also change this account when a payroll check is entered. You can also clear the Calc checkbox to enter a flat rate amount into the amount field. Otherwise, it'll automatically calculate the payroll field. If you are calculating your deductions, you can select the name of the calculation used to calculate the deduction from the tax name field. You can use the drop-down list, as an incorrect tax name will cause errors during payroll entry. Enter the deduction or addition amount to apply to a specific amount per pay period in the amount field as either a negative or a positive value. You can also click the Adjust Arrow button to display the Calculate Adjusted Gross window. And that's where you can select the Use checkbox for fields that should be added or subtracted from the gross prior to calculating any taxes. On the Employer Fields tab, you can change the default employer company taxes. You can take the check out of the standard fields if you don't want to use the standard payroll field information for the specific employee. Then you can make changes to the field. Under Liability, you could select the account to which the employer liability will be posted. And under the Expense column, you can select the account to which the employer expense incurred when paying an employee will be posted. You can also clear the Calc checkbox to not calculate the payroll field if you need to for some reason. If you're calculating your deductions, you would just select the name of the calculation used to calculate the deduction from the tax name field. Use the list because, as noted before, an incorrect tax name can cause errors during payroll entry. And you can always click the Adjust button to display the Calculate Adjusted Gross window, where you can select the Use checkbox for fields that should be added or subtracted from the gross prior to calculating any shown taxes. Now, once you are done with your employee and set them up the way you'd like, you would just click Save to save them. And then, of course, you can click New to bring up a new record and start over. And when you're done, you can just click the Close button.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.